By the fall of 2004, 275 mass graves had been discovered containing 300,000 bodies.
They took away 4 of my children, and I was left with my other 4 kids. I don't know where they took them. I kissed the Arabs' hands and begged them, for the love of God, where are you taking my children? They beat me here, there. They beat me on the head. I still suffer from headaches and dizziness due to the beatings. They beat me with cables, shouting, "What do you want children for? Just tell me what you want children for. Don't you still have some left?" First they took the children. Then they took my husband. In the middle of the night, they handcuffed him like this, took his clothes off, then they blindfolded him and took him along with another man, Hama Khorshid, from our village, Serkala. We stayed in the camp for 4 nights. They took us to Dibis. Then at 1 p.m. came the army trucks. The children were lying like this, wailing non-stop due to hunger. One of my children was very hungry. He died. Yusuf was the older one. They picked him up like this and threw him into the truck. He fell under their feet. He lasted 2 days. He would pace the room, crying in pain, crying, "Mommy, my stomach hurts." I begged the people for my son. "Mommy, Mommy, bread." He died too. That year there were a lot of prisoners at the army base close by here. 2 to 3 days later, we heard that there were so many children dying there that they didn't know what to do with the dead bodies. Then one day, the army started to bring the bodies here. The dead children they brought here were very thin and had obviously starved to death. The grieving mother or a relative was brought along. They would leave the dead children by the door to the mosque, take the mothers back to the car, then to the camp again. There were many good Samaritans here who volunteered to do the washing, the ceremonial cleansing of the dead bodies, as well as the burial preparations. 2 men would go, dig the graves, and bury them. This went on day after day, and the number of the dead kept rising, going from 3, 4 to 5 per day. More and more people came to help us with the washing and burial process, and the army would just stand there and watch. We would beg them to let us aid the mothers with clothes, money, or food. They wouldn't let us. After many tries and lots of servings of tea, the army finally let the mothers stay while their children were being prepared for burial. We would prepare and bury 4 to 5 bodies per day. Sometimes it caused us to lose our appetite. We would wash and bury one child after another. This went on for 6 months in Dibis. The poor people were so destitute, it's impossible to describe. I wish I were in the grave instead of my babies. I wish I were in the grave instead of my babies. That's the camp where they kept us. That's another one. And there is one in that area. This is one of them. They slapped me here and threw me over there. I know by that place that here is a grave. This is the place where they kicked me. I went to the Dibis graveyard and saw my beautiful babies, all three.
$1.3 million people have been missing since 1979. We don't know their fate. A missing person is someone who left home or was forced to leave and never returned. A person who has left home for 20 years and never returned has most likely been killed. We hope not, but that is the fact. There are families with more than 15 members missing. There are villages totally destroyed. In Sangao area, for instance, there are villages completely annihilated. Everyone was killed.
We can't stop crying because we don't know their fate. 20 years have passed. I'm the mother of 2 martyrs. 2 of my brothers are missing. 16 from my family altogether. 8 from my side and 8 from my husband's. My sons were set on fire by the bath party. We are deeply wounded. We cry day and night. All these women have their loved ones dead. Mothers and sisters of young men have been mourning for 20 years.
And this was the women's prison. These were doors. And these were assault rooms for sexual assault of women. This room was used to interrogate the women. This was the first cell. The second cell. They would place a large number of people here, up to 40 persons. These were called single cells, but were used for groups. What they were called didn't make a difference. Here was an iron pipe. It was placed on these rods. The executioner would pace back and forth with a sword in his hand. This is how people were positioned, this way, tied down, and then beheaded. They were many. Even the cook was a torturer. Even the cook, as he was distributing food, would beat us with a cable.